Okay, good afternoon, everybody, or I guess good evening to a lot of you people out there. Here in Japan, it is not good evening, it's good morning. For another hour or so, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I got Mike Dennis. Mike Dennis is here. He's going to be bringing the fun.
Hello.
Mike, be fun today. I need it.
For a change.
Yeah.
Stop bringing me down.
Okay, and so this is our live stream that we do weekly. We didn't do it last week because, to be honest, we just forgot about it. We were really busy and just forgot until halfway through the time that we were supposed to be streaming, and then surprise, it's
But the good news is,
are we online?
I'm not sure. It says still waiting. I'm gonna refresh. No one's chatting.
No, and I got nobody watching right now.
It just says starting.
It says we've been live for 1 minute on mine.
Everyone still says starting too. What's going on? Oh, I think you may be.
It's like we waited for you too long. I'm just gonna watch your computer.
It says you're live, but the video's not loaded.
That's a little bit strange. We got full bandwidth here. Maybe YouTube's having a problem? It says you are live, elapsed time 26, 27, 28, 29. Our stream health is orange.
Hey Joe, can you hear us? Maybe.
Oh, now we got a green stream health.
Oh, do you reckon it's gonna do that thing where it catches up and everything goes super fast up until the live point? Have you seen that?
I have not seen that. Is that on YouTube?
Yeah, like, I guess voice chat programs?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, hey guys, it's Eric. It's 11 a.m. Here we are.
We're down to orange again.
Oh, you're up.
Oh yes, finally we are up and we are running.
Yeah.
Okay. My goodness, I wonder what was happening there.
I don't know. There's always something.
And there was a fresh restart of the computer on this side. And then according to my computer, we've been live now for 3.5 minutes. And yet it looks like we just went up onto the YouTube there.
I wonder if the quality's affected.
You can see what I'm doing on there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome to our live stream. Just gonna set my chair. And
super fancy intro, and that's all gone now.
Yeah, that was kind of the worst intro ever. It was like, welcome everybody to the live stream. We basically aren't even online right now. What are we doing? Let's check some settings. All right. And so let me just, we got one person watching. Oh, we're up to 4. This is our new high score for 3 minutes in. Okay, so feel free to ask your questions onto the live stream here, and we'll promise not to have any technical problems that are actually that's a terrible thing to promise. Okay, so let's jump into it. Somebody's saying "Go Raptors, go!" You know, Mike, Canada only has one NBA team.
Right.
And they're in the playoffs right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know anything about basketball or hockey or any sport that people watch.
I'll get behind the Raptors.
Yeah, they have a cool logo.
Sweet.
And that's all I know. Vancouver used to have a team, but nobody cared enough about them, so the team went away. All right, so people are sending in picks here for the auctions. Right away, we'll start looking at those. I didn't have time to prepare a few of them to look at ahead of time. So TAA Hiroshima.
It has gone through auction already.
Oh really?
Second page, yeah. Oh.
I'm still looking for it here. Oh, this one, eh? Yeah, I've seen this one on Facebook a bunch. Wow, wild and crazy.
Oh, the back seats are great. If that's actually, is that a cover or is it just...
And what's kind of nice about this one is that it doesn't have one of those really long protruding front bumpers, so you actually would be able to ship this one without taking that off. So I wonder what happened to it. The auction time was 10 o'clock, so the price might be up already. Let's have a quick look. Oh, don't tell me we don't have the auto server set up on this computer. We probably don't.
Is it okay to show that?
No, we don't. I don't know if it is or not. Okay, so why don't you take a look on auto server to see what... You can do it from that computer.
Oh yeah? Sure.
Yeah, that's my computer. Okay, so yeah, pretty crazy styled aftermarket body kit. I guess people call this the Bosozoku style or something like that. There are a few different names for it. But basically the cars like this are made to mirror the early 80s sport GT cars, like the Skyline. Let's see if we can find that, like 1983 Skyline GT car. And here's a good example. Even though this looks like a toy car. So
the stream is having problems.
Is it?
Yeah, mine's frozen.
That's a little bit weird. Because it shows green on mine.
Oh, it could just be me then.
Yeah, but that's a little bit weird if that computer is having internet problems and this one's not. Because they're both running on the same internet. Oh, station wagon Skyline. Maybe we're going to have to stop looking at these. This is too exciting for me.
Yeah,
Isn't that a cool looking car?
Yeah, I love that.
Ah.
Those are really cool pictures.
Alright, can't look at that anymore. Instead, we'll take a look at this car. That's cool.
The result is not up yet either.
Okay, so no result yet. We don't know how much it's sold for. A lot of the cars that look like this will look really cool in the pictures. They tend to be in kind of rough shape by the time it comes to sell them. I think the people that style them this way don't really care that much about the condition of the car. It's more about the style of it. And then the cars that are popular for this kind of tuning tend to be older, you know, early 80s to late 80s Japanese four-door sedans. They usually don't last until this long anyway. So in terms of condition here, it says it's a 1986 Cressida. It's a 2-liter with automatic transmission and unknown mileage. It says it has Mark 1 wheels. Toyo tires, aero parts on it, obviously. Over fenders. These over fenders look like kind of your N2 style fenders for the 8.6. They might in fact be those. What else does it have? Hero wing. I didn't get a good look at the wing on the back of that.
Do you reckon anyone's been in an accident in this car because they haven't been able to see past their body parts?
That might be a concern, but this one doesn't look like it's...
Like, look at those massive...
These things on the side?
Yeah, on the hood.
Cut off visibility. And probably look at the driver's seat. It's leaned so far back that the person's like...
He's probably looking out the rear window.
This style. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody made something like this with a front-facing camera and then a screen inside the car so that they could be ultra gangster while they're driving it.
Drive from them
really low, and then it's like a video game.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everybody's so good at video games that they would be able to drive in real life with just a PlayStation controller.
I wonder.
John Clark says the screen is frozen. Are you frozen over there?
I'm good. I had to
I wonder if this is YouTube's problem, because we started streaming and YouTube didn't get their act together until 3 minutes later, and we didn't do anything. All we did was just wait for it and wait and wait and wait, and then YouTube was like, "Good morning, we're here. I've had my coffee this morning." Okay, so it seems like this was a popular car, obviously a car that looks like this and is shippable because it's not too low, it doesn't have the crazy ground effects on the front and the back. It's going to garner a lot of attention. Let's go over the condition here. So it says the front inner panel is dented, underside has surface, pardon me, large scratches and dents. Front inner panel has a corrosion hole in it. Core support is dented, underside surface rust, various rust on the car. Aftermarket steering wheel. Console has large cracks in it. Dashboard is deformed and warped a lot. Headliner is modified. Interior is dirty. Seat wrinkles, pardon me. The spare tire house is dented, I guess because it's too low. Exterior has various small scratches in it. Bumper underside is scratched. The registration sticker is not on the car, which is kind of funny. It would go right underneath where this bow is. So I guess there's no point in putting the sticker there if you can't see. Some people just put it in their glove box. I don't know why they do that, but it's a thing. Aftermarket stereo. Hood dampers and trunk dampers don't work. Exterior has various screw holes in it, like the putting these fenders on with the screws. And then left and right rear doors can't open.
What?
That's.
Okay.
And then nobody can sit on the lovely Coca-Cola seat covers.
No.
Do you think?
Climb in the back.
Do you think that they put those seat covers in before they put the fenders on? Like they opened the door and installed them? Or do you think they're like, we want Coca-Cola on the back of our seat, but we can't open the doors, so they have to climb in through the driver's side in order to install that?
How much cursing do you think was involved when they're like, these over fenders, really?
I don't think that they were cursing. I think they were like, this is going to be so cool.
It's annoying now, but once we get this done.
Also, check this out. They have the license plate mounted on the side here.
Oh.
But the bumper has a license plate mount section in the front, so there was no purpose in putting it to the side because they didn't cut it out to allow more air to the intercooler. And I think this is a non-turbo version of the Cressida anyway.
Oh boy.
Yeah, David D says, been missing your daily vehicle reviews. We actually had a really slow last couple of weeks, and so nobody's been buying cars. Not nobody, but the people who are buying cars are mostly the dealers. Don't put their cars on the channel. And then our lot right now, you did the pickup this morning, right?
Yeah.
Our lot has only one customer car in it, and the rest are all cars that are owned by us. Right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it is nice to have a breath of fresh air, but it makes me feel a little bit anxious not having so much work to do. It's a little bit opposite of what you would expect it to be.
The good news is we caught up on all the emails that people have been sending us.
Yeah, very good news, Mike. Very good news.
We keep that up, right?
Mike was kicking ass with emails, kicking
We
butt.
both were.
We don't want to smash the cars in a demolition derby. That's kind of an American thing too. You guys don't? Do you guys do demolition derbies?
I think there's like demolition races.
That sounds way more fun than a demolition derby.
Yeah.
Because like a demolition derby, you know what those are, right? It's just everybody gets a car and then drives their car until the cars are so broken they can't drive anymore.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I used to love them when I was a kid. I lived in a tiny town, and then it was like the highlight of the year. It was the demolition derby, and everyone bets on the cars.
Yeah.
And everyone makes like kind of, you know, like the 24 Hours Lemons.
Yeah.
It's like the Le Mans, but like you get junk cars and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like that, and everyone has a theme with their car, and it's fun.
I think I would love to go and watch one. They still do them, right?
Well, I'm sure they do in some places.
Yeah, I want to go and watch.
Or race in one.
Yeah.
Or host your own in Japan.
Oh, that'd be yeah. Buy a car.
The only people who are interested in doing that are Americans.
Yeah. We'll just do it near the base.
That actually sounds like an awful lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like it could be pretty expensive if you wanted to be competitive. Like people would take their radiators out and put them on the roof. Because like if you break a radiator, you're not going to last very long.
Yeah. That's awesome. The mystery machine would be perfect. What's the mystery machine?
I think they're talking about the Scooby-Doo van.
Ah.
And I think it would probably perform very well, but it would be much too expensive in order to be worth it. See, when I was a kid, all those land yachts were so cheap, and now they're coming up in price. You know, like the super big American cars with the 350 and a frame that's like made for a truck.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're allowed to have trucks in demolition derbies either, because
Clean up.
and like you got to be careful with regulations for something like that, because zombie apocalypse vehicles could go around murdering everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Some guy takes it way too serious. Like, oh, Dave.
It's like those robot wars. In fact, you know the robot wars, right? That'd be fun to do a demolition derby where your car has to be remotely controlled.
Oh.
And then you can put weapons on it too.
Oh, that would be cool.
How cool would it be to have like full-size circular saws?
Yeah.
Probably not very effective. I think a battering ram or something that's like smashes down on other people.
That'd be cool if a company developed the technology to...
See, why don't we have enough money to do these things?
Guys, send us money. We'll make good use of it.
Yeah, I would like to direct everybody's attention to the super chat right now.
Well,
all right.
GoFundMe. $100,000 needed to set up demolition derby in Japan.
Remote control demolition derby with weapons.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we take a look at some cars? Somebody sent in, Elias has sent in a Bongo Friendee. I suppose we can take a look at that. Hmm?
Same as the Frida.
Yeah. I can't find it. Here it is. All right. Okay, so the Friendee is, badge engineered as a Ford Frida, but they are made by Mazda. They come in gasoline or diesel engines, and the party piece is the pop-up roof. And you can get them as campers inside, but probably about 95 or more % are just the weekender style, where you don't have the camping stuff inside. And then the seats inside, I guess we don't have a good view of them. They can turn into a bed on the bottom section, and then you get another bed on the top section with the electronic opening top here. Four-wheel drive, it's a 2.5 liter turbo diesel. The prices are generally pretty reasonable at about $3,000 or so. A lot of them have rust problems. This one has a bush guard. It's kind of cool. It almost doesn't suit the front of the car, but I kind of like that. Condition-wise, this one's 1998. It's not legal for the US yet. And I don't know when these started. I think they may have started in around 1996, and so still have another 2 years or so before they're legal. And they're kind of rare to find nowadays, so by the time that they're legal, they might not be a good target car to go after. So this one here has the gasoline engine. That'll be a little bit cheaper. Auction grade 3.5 with an exterior grade of C. And you kind of want to stay away from most camping style vehicles with interior C, unless you want to be a bit risky. They might be pretty gross inside. High mileage on this one, 218, 179 kilometers. And you can get a bit of a good idea with of the reliability of cars. If you find an awful lot of cars with higher mileage, this can paint a picture of a car that's generally going to stick around for a while at higher mileage. Most Japanese cars you don't have to worry about too much. And then condition-wise, so front windshield rock chip, that's nothing to worry about. Interior scratched and dirty and wear. Seat covers on the seats. Right side electric folding door mirror doesn't work. Exterior has paint fade. You can kind of see that in the picture. Underside surface rust. Radiator fan makes weird noises. It's not really a big problem. It's an electric fan on this one, so it just needs a new fan motor. Various scratches and dents, and the auto free top doesn't work. So there's an electric motor that raises the top, and that doesn't work. And as far as I know, you can't open the top if that motor goes. There might be a system to manually crank it, but I don't think so. And so, this could be a disaster waiting to happen. It might be very difficult to repair a motor like that because they're not a very common vehicle to begin with, and then looking for a part that generally people don't have for sale might be quite difficult. So for most people, this is going to be a no-go, and it's going to end up being pretty cheap, probably about $600 or $800 or so. Okay. Bill's on a motorcycle vacation. We can do a motorcycle vacation, Mike.
We could.
Let's do that when we get the Moto Compo. You get the Moto Compo, and then I'll get the Motra.
I'm down.
I kind of want to get a Honda Cub too, or Monkey.
I like the Monkey, yeah.
I meant to say Monkey.
It looks so good.
I don't want to get my my actual motorcycle license, and then in Japan you can drive these without a motorcycle license.
Ah, so good.
I want to see a picture of somebody riding one because they're really tiny, and you don't get a good idea of the scale until you see somebody riding them.
There you go. Elbow wingspan.
Sit upright like
you look
that.
like when you're riding the Motra.
It is a lot, right? The
Very
Motra is
upright.
similar size to
Yeah.
this. It's a lot of fun to ride it. I only wish it was a little bit faster. In Japan, a bike like this, you're not allowed to go faster than 30 kilometers an hour. But the Motra that we have can get up to 65, which still feels a little bit slow.
Yeah.
For city running around, it's all right. And just to let people know, we don't sell motorcycles. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are interested in that, but we don't. Somebody found an Evo 3. Let's have a look at that one. Someone as in J Paradise. That's a sweet name.
Oh. Every time you mention Moto Compo, people want to know.
It's still in the shop. The guy at the shop's probably not very good at fixing older vehicles, so that's the problem with it right now. It came in and it worked, but then I think that the carb's not very good. And carburetors, if you don't run the vehicle for a very long time, a carburetor is very prone to gumming up and just running very poorly. And so I wanted to get the carb either rebuilt or replaced, but the shop guy says he doesn't understand what that carb, like how the carb works compared to a modern carb, I guess. Don't know. J Paradise. We got an Evo 3. So this one's the Evo 3 for a while was kind of the expensive one of the 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure how prices have fit in now. But so a lot of people for track vehicles wouldn't like the Evo 4, 5, or 6 because the center differential is just not very good on those, not for track. And then this one would be bought as the race car, but then they got sold out. There were very few of them that were in good condition that were left. And so prices went up, and nowadays I'm not sure how the prices are of them, but I think people are going to be into the Evo 3 when they become legal for the States because they're the first Evo that looks really aggressive. They're the first one with a really big spoiler on the back and then the really big front end. Otherwise, it's very similar to the Evo 1, 2, or 3. So, really low mileage at 51,000. It's an R grade because it's being in an accident. Underside corrosion is a problem with these cars. This one appears to be okay, but their accident, I'm just reading over what it says here. Right front inner panel replaced, right front frame section had a deformation that was rebuilt. Back panel, same thing, and the core support has been replaced. And then the seat is saggy and the underside has surface rust. So it looks like the condition is quite good other than the accident. So if you're the type of person who's okay with an accident, which if you really want a nice clean Evo 3, you might kind of have to go with something like this, because non-accident Evo 3s that are in this in this good of a condition otherwise they're going to be really hard to find. Body-wise, not good though. I just saw that. So 2 big dents on this side on the doors. Oh wait, this side. So one big dent here, one big dent here. You can't see them in the pictures, but you really got to trust what it says in the diagram here. And then a big dent here. You can see that one in the picture. That one's rated as an AU3. And then that back fender has been replaced. This side sill has been replaced. That generally means that the accident was kind of big or has damaged a sensitive area in the car. So typically, I don't really recommend cars that have been hit here. And then scratches on the front bumper lip, but that's not really that much of a problem. That's going to be on the underside. You won't be able to see it that much. So it's a little bit hit and miss. It's almost 25 years old. And then a performance car that's naturally going to last less than your average passenger vehicle. Price-wise on this, I think probably around yen $1 million, which would be about 8,500 US dollars, plus costs of exporting. Just reading the chat here.
I'm confused about Gulapaga's question.
Are you doing your own whatever you want to say, or do you want to answer the questions of people who are typing underneath? I think he's getting a bit grumpy because he asked a question and then nobody answered it. So, what's your question?
His original question was 800cc cars, new water, 3 years old, salvage, how much is a Nissan?
Maybe English isn't his first language.
How to buy...
So Ghoul Gapaz, if you could re-ask that question in a way that people can understand, then I'll go ahead and answer it. And then watch out for that one, Mike.
Okay.
Watch Harry's Garage channel. He has loads of Africa Twins. What's an Africa Twin? It sounds like something that's illegal to import. I would kill for an old Africa Twin.
I think it's an old adventure bike.
That's pretty rad.
Oh, no, they still make them. I think it's a Honda.
Okay, Emu Plays has sent in one for Fairlady, so let's have a quick look at what we got there. Okay, grade 4 Fairlady. This is the type of car that we're not getting too many requests for, and I quite like them these days. The Fairlady is it's been a car that a lot of people didn't care an awful lot about, especially car enthusiasts, because Japan used to be very popular for turbocharged cars and their excellence in turbocharged cars, and then all of a sudden Nissan decides to go left field and then produce like a big displacement non-turbocharged car in a replacement for one of their 2 high-end performance cars. And so Nissan has the Skyline, which is the darling of Japan, and then the Fairlady, which has always been kind of the 2 cars that are not really far enough apart from each other. In the later generations, the GTR took the prominence, and then the Fairlady was kind of the underdog, especially from the Z32 generation, Z33 for certain. But these days, all of the good Japanese cars have gone up in price so much, and the Fairlady is the next one to do that. They're good performance cars, but prices are really low, and so I think that they're a good target car if you're looking for something for drifting these days. This one has what many people would consider stupid wheels. I don't really have a problem with them. Front bumper is aftermarket. I'm not a huge fan of that. The overall style of the cars is still pretty good. Aftermarket headlights, aftermarket bumper, aftermarket wheels, side skirts. If you're into that kind of thing, this could definitely be appealing for that type of person. Tail lights. The exhaust needs to be bigger in a car that looks like this, I think. And then TAA Kinky is a kind of a cheaper auction, so you're going to be able to get this one for a pretty good deal. This one here is the version ST. Mike, do you know what the version ST is?
Brembo brakes. I think it's the track edition, like the Brembo brakes.
The S is that one, and then the ST is one level above that. But I don't know what the ST has different from the S. So the version S has Brembo calipers, lowered suspension, and stiffer. I think maybe sway bars has. They both have a 6. No, they don't. 6-speed manual was only on the S.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I might be wrong about this. But the ST has something else. I don't know what it is. Low mileage here, 54,000. It has been repainted in black, which to me pushes me against it, but it's not the type of car that's going to lose value from being repainted. And I wonder what the original color is. If you want to know the original color, you can find out by putting the chassis number in here. Actually, let's do that, because a lot of our current customers don't even know about this. So the original was a bright silver. And automatic transmission. And 20-inch wheels. It's going to be cheap. It's going to go for somebody who doesn't want a manual transmission but still wants a hot-looking car. Let's see what else. Side airbag, curtain airbag. Version ST. Comes with Navi. Okay.
Oh. Are you ready for a question?
I'm ready for a question.
What's your favorite Japanese car you regret selling off?
That would be the Volkswagen Golf.
You were so ready for it. In Japan?
I have Japanese cars that I liked. I mean, I'm sad about selling the 8.6, but we couldn't have imported that from Canada to Japan. We could have, but in our circumstance, there's no way to do that. And back then, they weren't worth nearly as much as they are now. That was like 2006 we sold it. Actually, we sold it in 2007. We didn't think we would be in Japan as long as we were, and so we kept it in Canada and for a year, and then decided to sell it after. I had a Skyline that I really liked, but I got into it knowing that I was going to sell it. It used to be that my car came up on Google Images as one of the only cars, but nowadays they've got more. Here, this is an actual picture of my car, proudly hosted on Photo Bucket by somebody else. Look at this, tissues in the back window.
And Impul wheels, right?
Yeah, it's a full set. It's an Impul car. So 300 horsepower, decently fast, and RB25 engine, 4-door. Comes with cool little blistered fenders in the rear only. It's not a lovely car, but I liked it very much. And this day that I took the picture was a very fun day. I had a friend from Canada come in, and then we took it driving in the mountains for the first time I've ever done that.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
It was so fun, but I let my friend drive, and he wasn't very good at driving, so it was terrifying when he was driving. And that's one of my least favorite things, is when you drive when somebody else is driving you and they suck at driving. Or even if they're average at driving, because it's so easy, like especially when you're driving a good handling car like this, it's so easy to have the adrenaline running and just go for it and get into a flow and then just not pay enough attention for just a second.
Yeah.
And then crash your car.
Or somebody else's car.
And when I had this car, if I crashed this car, that would have been a pretty big hit for me.
Yeah.
I didn't pay very much for it, but it would be worth a lot more now than it was back then. It was in quite good condition, but this was 10 years ago that I owned it. It was my first car in Japan.
Oh, and another good question. Have you ever driven a Nissan Safari, and what was the legroom like compared to a Land Cruiser?
I have exported a number of them, but they're very rare compared to the Land Cruiser in terms of what we buy and what's on the market.
Yeah.
They cost a little bit less than the Land Cruiser, but most people are in it for the Land Cruiser name and availability of parts, and so the Safari takes a back seat. They're still great vehicles, though. I believe that the Safari has a little bit less legroom than the Land Cruiser, but I could be completely wrong about that. I don't really know. Somebody says a wife was ecstatic. What are we talking about here? My wife is almost never ecstatic about anything having to do with cars. I had a EG6 for a while, Not an EG6, pardon me. A GC8. Whoops. And it had Martini livery on it.
Was that like a foreshadowing?
Nope.
You want to have an EG6?
I do want, I do, but most of the EG, oh, that's such a great picture.
If someone sent in a super chat, would you buy an EG6?
If they sent in a super chat for the value of an EG6, then yes, but I would be very disappointed in that person because YouTube takes a good chunk of that money as part of their processing fee for it. And so I wouldn't be able to get a full EG6 out of their money. And I don't want to chip anything in. This one here might actually be the same car.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that's
because it had these headlights on it. No, it can't be this car. It's very similar. It had the same style for the Martini decals. Maybe they ordered the same kit. But that's what it looked like, and whenever I drove around in this car, my wife hid her face because she didn't want anyone to notice her in such a otaku-looking car. I think this is also good to mention, too, that car guys in Japan are seen as nerds in the same way that Magic the Gathering guys are seen in the States. It's pretty much the same level. And so if you are a car guy, you don't really talk about it that much when you're at a party, unless you're with other people who are car guys, too.
Unless you're in a parking lot party. Oh, and a cool thing, the guy that we couldn't read the question for,
yeah,
he said English is his language, but he's driving and speaking through his phone. and
watching the live stream while he's driving.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but he didn't send in the question again.
I don't think so.
Prince Royal said, how long did it take you to learn Japanese? I don't know Japanese very well. I have emergency Japanese that I can basically get by, but that's about it.
And advanced car Japanese.
I find that everyone else in the entire world learns languages better than me.
Not me.
I guarantee it. I'm at the bottom 1% of learning languages. I've been here for 12 years and I struggle daily to speak to people. And so I'm not a good example of that. CLP had a Castro livery GT4.
Ooh.
Oh, not buying. He didn't have it. Yeah, you see those every once in a while. The Castrol GT4s are a famous livery. Castrol GT4. That's cool. I actually don't mind it on the 8.6 either. That's kind of cool. I do, Mike Dennis, want to put a livery on our new race car.
Oh,
but
I'm down.
I started designing liveries when I was like totally into it, and then I realized how hard it is to design a livery for a car that looks good. I have a design that I like, but I don't know if it would look good on the car. That's the problem. Okay, Isuzu Bighorn Turbo. I suppose we could take a look at that one.
I'm just wondering how much you want to talk about.
Our race car? That's all I'm going to say. The 34 people that are watching will be the only people that know about our race car. What's the number on that one? 9217. So this would be something of an alternative to a Pajero or a 4Runner, which is also known as the Hilux Surf here. They're not quite the same level as a Land Cruiser. This one's importable to the States, and it has a diesel 3-liter engine. But this one's a grade 2, and almost always grade 2 is for cars that have too much corrosion on them to be street drivable. If you look at the diagram here, we got C2, which is fairly heavy corrosion here, over here. C3 is very heavy, like you can punch a hole through it, or somebody's already punched a hole through it. And C1 over here. And this is the underside, has corrosion large, and then it usually tells you why it's a grade 2, and it'll say grade 2 because of corrosion on it. Left and right rear side members have corrosion holes. Really not something that you're going to want unless you want to burn your money for no reason at all. Like the costs of paying for our service fee and shipping this to basically any country is worth more than the vehicle will be worth once it lands, even if you get it for free. And then in Japan, I think someone's just going to buy this for parts. I could see it go for like 70,000 or 100,000 yen, and then they'll sell the engine and then part out interior and stuff like that. So really not worth looking at. Are people asking about the race car?
I'm not sure. Let's see. Not yet.
SD Rodriguez says, still need help learning the auction report and the website. Will you do an updated version? Need a JZX90 in my life. Would love to have mine. Oh, the reviews. And then emojis. Ending up with the mail sign. You know what? I've never used the emoji for a mail sign. Maybe I should start doing that.
Oh.
Are you looking at the mail sign?
Yeah. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, okay, anyways, to answer that, if you are curious about how to use the system, Andrew, one of our previous staff, put together a 4-part video series that kind of runs you through the basics of buying through auction in Japan. And it's a valuable thing to take a look at for anyone who's considering or has already signed up and wants to know a little bit of strategy in how you buy cars. And what is it called? Pacific Coast Auto Guide to Auctions. That should probably find it. I don't remember what it's called.
It's on a playlist on the main.
Looks like our YouTube's really not happy. See how long that took to load?
Yeah.
So here it is. Here's episode 1, and then they're in a playlist, so you can watch them 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Put up 3 years ago. Wow. Uh-oh. Here's a video of us bidding at USS Yokohama. Let's hide that from the bad guys.
Oh,
here's a video of the cafeteria at auction that I put up 4 years ago.
Derek, this is shameless self-promotion.
Oh, and here's a video of a GTR that went up 4 years ago. There's so many videos like this. Now, I don't know this person, so I can't speak to him specifically, but it says, auto auction warning, tips and advice. And what people do is they'll import one car and then maybe it won't go well. Maybe it's because of a problem with their exporter, or maybe it's just the fact that sometimes it doesn't go well for people.
Yeah.
And then they act like the authority on it, and then people watch the videos, like 176,000 views, and then people get the wrong idea in their mind about what it's going to be like, because sensationalism is so much more fun to look at than somebody who's happy with their car.
Yeah.
People love to see this. Oh no, what could possibly go wrong? I better click on that one.
I always knew something. What?
Yep.
I've always known something was going to go wrong.
Yeah, that's sneaky Derek.
Yeah.
Trying to sell cars. Mike's sneaky too.
Derek. I wish people would describe me as sneaky. I like the word sneaky.
I describe you as sneaky all the time.
Yes.
Just not when you're there.
My
Okay, we got 772. Let's pull up that one. Now we got another 15 minutes on the live stream today. An SVX. This is a car we have never sold. They were somewhat popular in Canada. I remember seeing them every once in a while. They have a weird 3.3 liter engine. It's like a Boxer 6. And then strange windows, and then a strange size for Subaru. It's like bigger, but lower than a Legacy. Especially the Legacy that came out when this one was out. It was quite a bit smaller than the current Legacy is. Nippon Import says, who remembers Derek's daily videos he made to and from the auctions? Those weren't daily, those were once a week. And it wasn't when I was going to the auctions, it was when I was going to the port. I used to shoot all the reports at the port, and it was very inconvenient. And I was frustrated at the fact that I would spend so much time driving there, which is 45 minutes or an hour there and the same amount back. And I felt like I was not using my time very effectively with all of that travel. And so recorded the video of me doing questions then. And to be like, I like the live chat like this. It's very different, but this kind of replaces those types of videos. But I think you get a more valuable video doing it the old style, because people get to ask questions and then I get to fire off the questions right away, and it's a little bit tighter package than doing a live video. Like, for example, these videos are enjoyable for people while they're watching them. They can communicate through the chat. That's quite different from somebody actually clicking on the video and wanting to watch the video after the fact that it's not live anymore. And so you can see this through the analytics. These videos that we do almost get no hits after they go up, because people just don't want, you know, they want a tight package of info.
Yeah.
They don't want people joking about things. And I mean, it depends on the type of content that they watch, but I think our viewers don't like that so much.
I'm trying to find an Elgrand for James.
I still have that auto recorder, Elias, somewhere here. Not like this is really that useful to be showing you. We got new ones too. We get these. This one replaced the old voice recorder. And then we used to use these sometimes when we were doing higher quality content for like videos and stuff. We would record all of the sound using this and lapel mics, because the camera doesn't pick up everyone's voice very evenly. But that takes a lot more time to edit than just firing out videos, and as it is, we can't get videos out fast enough. I got a bunch of small packages, water-cooled performance. I got one here, and one there, and another one there. We collect camera bags, and they just kind of stick around. Anyway, back to the SVX. This one's a 1991 model, and what's cool about these is that they have a lot of the Subaru goodness. They're four-wheel drive, they got the boxer engine. They aren't turbo, I think. The generation beforehand, what was that called in North America? It had a different name. XT, Subaru XT. I look just like you right now with the hand on my face.
Oh.
Yeah, the XT, I think you can get turbocharged, but I don't think that you can get this one. The SVX was the replacement for the XT. And the XT is a rad car. Rad XT. Oh, look. Couldn't find any rad XTs. I found radiators instead.
Oh,
There's an XT6, which is a 6-cylinder version of it. I'm sure we'll find them. There we go. Yeah, they came in.
That's cool.
4-cylinder and 6 cylinders.
I've never seen one of these before, have they? Have I?
4-wheel drive turbo.
It's a lot like the old MR2.
You won't find any of these anymore. They're all gone. And they are really weird looking, and they have the coolest steering wheel in the world.
Oh, that's weird proportions.
Yeah, totally. They look much weirder in person than they do in pictures too. Look at this steering wheel.
Oh, I dig it. What? Never mind. Is that?
Isn't that the weirdest thing? There's a little notch for your thumb on this side. And then it's like, well, we only want a 2-spoke steering wheel. But we're not going to put the spokes.
But here's the thing.
Yeah. Oh gosh. What a cool interior though, with the hard edges everywhere.
What is the seatbelt? What are the seatbelts doing?
Oh, that's the American seatbelts. You don't know about that because
What?
Yeah, in Canada, some people import cars from America, so you see it every once in a while. But for a short amount of time, they had a regulation stating that the seatbelts had to automatically put themselves on for you because people were too dumb to put them on themselves, and then they would die in car accidents. And then the government's like, we don't want to spend money on healthcare, dead idiots.
Make your card put on your seatbelts for you.
Yeah, and so, right, when you open the door, it does that. And when you sit down and close the door, it puts itself on for you.
So you're supposed to just sit there like that and then...
Well,
I guess
the
that
weird part
works,
is
yeah.
you still put your own lap belt on.
That's really cool. I kind of just want to have one for be like, hey, tell the story and be like, this is how it works.
What do we got here? We got 10 minutes left, so we got the SVX. So underside has surface rust and corrosion, various scratches and dents. Hood damper doesn't work. Has a small oil leak, and the exterior has shallow scratches. Looks to be in quite good condition for how old the car is. And this car really only had one other competitor in Japan that really, anyways, the competitor was the Mazda Cosmo, because they were kind of similarly odd looking and about the same price, and kind of four-seaters, but only enough room for two people. And so these and the Cosmos tend to have been taken care of pretty well compared to other cars of their age, which is a good thing because now you can still buy them. But it is weird that they were taken care of really well. I think that people thought that the styling was so outlandish that they thought that they would be future classics. Jay Paradise is asking about the 20B. They only made 2,000 of them, so they can be a little bit hard to find, and when you do find them, they can be a bit expensive. Look to spend about landed 10 to 15, depending on condition, 10 to 15,000 US. Oh, someone says the auto seatbelts were only on cars that didn't have airbags. Did not know that. See, I'm from Canada. We only ever saw a handful of those, and everyone gives the same puzzled look, like, what the heck's going on with this car? We didn't have that regulation, and then we got standard seatbelts in Canada.
Someone said they would pull girls' hair and scalp you when your hair is caught in it.
That's kind of
really
cool.
quick? Were they just like...
Yeah, and they had very intentionally sharp seatbelts.
Like, the government made us do this. It's your own fault.
CRX had those belts mounted on the door. Ah, that's so weird. So weird. They would pull girls' hair, but not boys' hair. They know better than that.
Would you like to do an Elgrand to finish? Someone, James was asking for one.
Okay, we'll take. You have one?
Yeah, JUIG number 39.
Oh, I am blind. IG. I couldn't find it. I don't know how to use Firefox, it looks like. Is it on the second page? Did you find it?
I was searching for Elgrand. It's going up on the 13th.
I found a Nissan Caravan. That's not Elgrand though. I cannot find one.
Well, he's asked after any Elgrand into Canada, so...
Oh, here it is. I'm blind. Okay, so the Elgrand is just a standard van here in Japan, but the styling of it can look very standout-ish for people who have never seen them. You see these everywhere in Japan though, which means there are lots of them to pick from, and means supply being as high as it is, prices are pretty low. It's a 2004, which is the one that you want to get. I think in 2004 they changed to a new interior trim. I always thought that the not the first generation, the early model of this generation of Elgrand didn't have a very good interior. And so this one has different gauge set. It's the same structure of it, but a different gauge set in here, and then some slight differences in quality of seats. Yep, just your standard van. Not really much to look at here. Price about $1,000 for this. Sometimes you can get them for a little bit less, plus cost of exporting. It says seat is ripped on this one, so it'd be probably a bit cheaper than that. Condition looks to be okay, other than the seat rip. Underside surface rust, no problem with that. Various dents on the roof and some bad paint, but the roof's up high enough that you wouldn't notice it. Looks like this is a 2 sunroof model. Has a weird little screen here. Like here's the gauges, and then here's the screen for the Navi. It's funny that they put an aftermarket Navi in, so they have double Navi now. And then this one here, you can pivot. It's on hinges right here. So you can pivot it towards you if you want. But it's kind of silly to do that because you can only pivot it like 15 degrees. And so it doesn't really make it easier to see, but it makes it harder for the person in the passenger seat to see if they ever needed to. It seems like just like a gimmicky thing. Alright, we got 4 minutes. What do you want to do?
Someone said, do you know that Hot Wheels made a City 2 Turbo?
They made it in 4 different colors, and I have the blue one and the white one. I have 2 white ones and a black one. I don't have a yellow one yet. Wink. The black one and the blue one were both given to me as presents, and then the white one I bought at Fuji Speedway when I was there for a race.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I bought 2 of them, and they were way too expensive. I paid like $15 each, but I was like, nope, these ones came from Fuji Speedway.
Yeah, exactly.
I gave them to my kids to play with, and they never play with them, so I'm going to steal them back. You don't play with your toys, kids, I'm taking them.
I bought them for you guys.
I think that they just fell behind the toy box or something. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up here. I got a bunch of stuff to do. I got to go down to the port for shooting reports today. Got 7 cars to look at there. And then we've got a customer coming in at 5 o'clock today to come meet us. And drag racing is very unpopular in Japan at the moment. It used to be popular in the 90s, but it's not popular anymore. And you would be hard-pressed to find any tracks that allow for it. And the ones that do have tracks, it's more common to do 1/8 mile than 1/4 mile. And it's 11:57 in Japan right now. Bending Rodriguez. Okay, end of the chat. Do you have something to say, Mike?
No, thanks for coming along. This magical journey with us.
You don't want to add something that happened on Saturday? No?
So I bought a car.
Mike bought a car, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Wait, now people are going to think it's the race car.
No, the race car was not bought by Mike. It was bought by me, and I've spent about as much on making it a race car than it cost buying the car now. It turns out they don't let you go racing unless you have race car bits in it.
It's like they want people to build race cars.
Safety, pal.
Ah, God. You just can't win.
No, I would not buy a JZX for a race car. I think that's a terrible idea.
Someone just said go Drake.
I don't know.
Like a go Drake. Is he performing?
I think it might be a Toronto Raptors thing.
Oh.
So Drake is from Toronto, right? You know the rapper?
Right.
Yeah, and so he's like become the ambassador to the Toronto Raptors.
Really?
Yeah.
Like officially, or just people
Yeah,
are like,
officially, but
Oh,
he's
wow.
just annoying everybody because like he's running around on the court and like calling people names and trash talking and stuff, and he thinks it's super funny, but everyone's just really annoyed by him, and so like the commission who manages these things has gotten a number of complaints, and I don't know what's happening now with it or if anything is getting better, but this is what I hear from the person who never watches sports.
Right.
Josh wants to know what you bought, Mike.
What if I bought a Honda City Turbo?
No.
So we could go
yeah,
racing.
if you bought a Honda City Turbo, guaranteed that Nippon Imports is going to be sending you a message every week asking you to sell it to him.
Yeah, with a motor compo. Oh, it's a Lada. Camry.
Okay, it is not a Lada and is not a Camry. Maybe you can give a hint and then see if people can guess by next week.
Oh. It's practical.
Okay.
Is that a hint?
That is a hint. It's a vague hint because there are a lot of practical cars. But how about you give the year too?
2006.
Okay, it's a 2006 practical car that Mike bought.
Everyone's gonna be like, I don't care then.
Yeah. Practical, but sporty, with a 5-speed manual. Oh, am I giving away too much?
Crazy.
All right, gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Maybe Mike will tell you sometime what car that he got, and it's not a Pontiac Aztec because they are not sporty and they didn't come with a 5-speed manual. But the Aztec was sold in 2006, right?
I have no idea what that is.
You don't know what the Aztec is?
No.
Go to Google and type the ugliest car ever made, and you'll find it. I guarantee you.
I think you told me to do this before. My brain's like, no, we need to forget about that.
I don't think that I've spoken about the Aztec to you before. I would have known. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.